Before we get started, please take the time to like, add, and subscribe to our pages on YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, and iTunes. Also, please leave us a review. We can wander our way over, because this is Wandering Ways.
What's Bigfoot possibility?
Clink.
Clink. What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? Welcome to another wonderful Wandering Ways episode. It is yours truly, the Reverend Mark. I even got it on the water bottle, Reverend Mark. And with me per usual, per common course, per
Just kidding.
a custom, per just the way it is Ranger Zach. Ranger Zach, how you doing, my man?
I love that we call me Ranger Zach because I was a ranger for like a year. But it
I thought it
counts,
was
right?
like 2.
No, it was just about a full year.
No, I thought it was longer than that.
Basically 2017, man.
Well, I mean, you're called Ranger Zach, and I'm Reverend, even though, like, yes, technically I am a Reverend, but it's like one of those online ordained ships. It's not like that real.
It still counts.
You were a Ranger for a year.
You wanted to marry me and Thea, and it's all right. We got Mr. David Knoyer. That was good.
I try to marry everyone. I will.
And
I'm the kind of person that will, like, I'll find out you're getting married, and I will, up until the day of your wedding, I'll be like, hey, if you need a guy, I know someone.
I mean, you signed the document. That's pretty close, huh?
Yeah, that's true. I remember when I was doing it, I was like, wait, what the fuck is this shit? I didn't
Yeah.
sign up to sign anything.
Crazy. It's crazy. No, it's all good. It's the fun in the game. No, man, what you been up to? I've been painting quite a bit these last couple nights and just kind of going off that creative line. You have some great ideas coming out. Like these next few that you're going to see are going to just be like, that's how I feel.
Nice. I mean, good for you. Glad you're doing something with your time, because I haven't been doing shit other than work.
Yeah.
Um, the little bit of free time I do have, if I had to say I was doing anything, it's actually playing the ukulele. I've picked it up. I think within the last couple weeks, I've been playing it more.
So, as you say that, is that
Yeah,
coming with us to Iceland?
the ukulele, of course. I
It
always
is.
travel with the ukulele.
All right. All right. All right. All right. Okay.
That is the best thing to travel with, like hands down. I have had such great success traveling with it. Success that, I play it, kicks and giggles here and there, have a lot of fun, but like people love talking to you when you're holding like an instrument of some sort for whatever reason. So it's a great
Fair.
conversation starter. I mean, shoot, when I was in Amsterdam, or not Amsterdam, sorry, Christiania, which is in Copenhagen, which is like Copenhagen's Amsterdam.
Mm-hmm.
You can literally buy weed from vendors, like you can buy joints and spliffs. This guy's like, "Hey, man, if you play me a song, I'll give you a joint for free." And so I was like, all right. So I played him Somewhere Over the Rainbow because, when you're gonna be asked to play a song on the ukulele, you gotta make it stereotypical.
Right.
And he
No.
was like, "Oh, sweet man, what do you want?" And so, like me and the people I were with, we took because they didn't have just a weed joint; it's a spliff, so
Okay.
had tobacco in it. So we took that. Ended up having some live. There was like a free concert going on in the area. We just hung out and listened to live music, so it was kind of worth it.
That's crazy, man. No, I'm just curious. I mean, I guess we got to have like a top five for the Iceland, what we're bringing to Iceland, because that's going to make your list. Like some people, they're like, Mark, what the hell are you doing? You got to prioritize. No, and that is your priorities. So it would be interesting to see. Because I think about it, like I think about like the cameras, like I'm bringing that long lens, that fucking behemoth of a lens. I'm gonna pop, 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 you know what I mean?
Yeah, you're gonna have a lot of camera equipment. I have a feeling.
Is that a problem?
I'm not saying it's a problem. I'm not saying it's a good thing either. I'm just saying I have a feeling you're gonna bring a lot of camera equipment.
I'm gonna bring my camera. I'm gonna bring that long lens. I'm gonna bring the wide angle lens. I'm gonna bring all the lenses because they fit in the bag, right? I'm gonna
Hmm.
bring the GoPro. I'm gonna bring my phone.
It's a lot. I mean, but again, it's you
Oh,
do
and the
you.
Polaroid. And the Polaroid. Because like, how do you not bring the Polaroid to
The
Iceland?
Polaroid, I think, depending on the picture, I think the Polaroid would be pretty legit.
I haven't quite thought as far out as the picture, but I do. That's another reason why I want to hit a thrift store, hopefully, or
Well, to be fair, I don't think it's a picture you plan out with the Polaroid. I think it
no,
just, well, there will be like a moment you're like, this is the Polaroid pic.
right. No, I agree with you. And I want to do kind of similar to like these photos where I have like the map. I want a map of
Oh,
ice. I want a map of Iceland and I want to put the photos around it.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay. I see where you're going with it. I
Exactly.
see. That'll be
Yeah.
actually kind of cool.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. I'm super stoked for Iceland.
I am
Super
too.
it's
I don't
coming up
know how many cameras. I know I'm bringing my Super 8 and I'm bringing the GoPro for sure.
in your
And
phone.
then well, yeah, the phone, um but I don't know if I'm gonna bring like an actual camera or not. I've been going three different ways on it. So it will be
That's
something I decide in like 4 weeks from now.
that's just as much as me. Your Polaroid is my Polaroid is your Super 8 and the GoPro and then the camera. If you bring the camera. I mean, it's not going to take up much space if you think about it, but one I've learned traveling and going out and kind of what it's a good kind of segue into today's episode with Yellowstone, is what do you take photos of? What do you take videos of? What do you take um those moments of? And in reality, my phone is so purely social media. I've come because you film in the way social media is shot in that up and down iPhone way, right? You're not getting wide angle. I'm
Hmm.
a wide angle guy, straight up and down, true and through, one, two, three. You know what I mean? I like my wide angle, so that's why I have my camera. I'm gonna bring the camera. That and that long lens is gonna be for dope shots and animals. I like it a lot for animals, wildlife, because you can get some good shots of wildlife with it. The GoPro I think there's any kind of water kind of shots that you could dip it in water, any 360 shots I wanted to say. And then I kind of I like where you're going with your Super 8 with the people. And I think that's where if I were to with the GoPro, it would be more with like the fun interactive stuff we do.
Yeah. Yeah, that was kind of, well, the Super 8 is the behind the scenes more of like capturing us in it. That's what my plan to use it is. The GoPro, um, and the GoPro is kind of why I've been very, I don't know how I feel about bringing another camera. Because I'm gonna do usual GoPro stuff. And I might even like do a little throwbacky to where like if you go back, like if you watch, I think we talked about it literally last episode when we were talking about Banff. When you look back at the video of that trip, like have
Mm.
that style, do that style again, maybe slightly differentiate it to where it's not just music the whole time, maybe like get some real life audio along mixed in there. And that's just because I'm a better editor now. But
That
The
and
fact you can take photos on the GoPro is why I'm thinking I might not bring a regular camera. But where I'm also stuck is I really badly want like a nice picture of a puffin.
I got you.
Like I want a picture of a puffin. I want a picture of a puffin that I can like legitimately frame.
So I'll just let you. We'll put the long lens on my camera. You could take a few angles that you like. It'll be Mark's puffin. We'll know which one is it.
Yeah, maybe that's what we'll do.
I think that'll work. I think that'll work because if we could get your uh because you also have your phone that'll take those photos that you want to keep as well. And if like you said, you
Yeah,
can
they'll
focus
be.
on between the GoPro and your phone, you'll get the
That's why
stuff you like.
that's kind of why what my thought was there is I think I'll be good enough with that.
Well, and you're the primary driver, so
This fuck. Uh, but no, we're not here to talk about who's driving to ice in Iceland or not. No, 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 not today. No, today we're here to bring along one of our top fives, another top five, a little different than usual. I'll admit it. This is top five things in the national park known as Yellowstone.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
super excited. We've been there enough. So we think that we can narrow down all of the amazing things that are in Yellowstone to the things that just give us that extra bit of chuckle, that little bit of extra oohs and ahs. Are places when we go now, we're like, yeah, let's head over there because it's just that sweet.
And if it's so good, we'll invite our friends and family to do the top
Yeah.
five of Yellowstone with us as well later on because this is a fun park.
Yes, it is. It is
Um,
for sure. Anyways, I think this time I'll start it off. My reasoning being is like Yellowstone's kind of your park there, so I think it's better if we save your excitement of each of them for after I go.
okay.
So I think that's how I want to go. I want to start it off. I'm clocking in. I've written my ticket, submitted it into the draft. We're here. We're going. Pick number five on my list of favorite things in Yellowstone National Park, Lower Geyser Basin. Love me some geysers. And I
You
think
like
this part of
that?
the park, well, I think it's pretty. And then
Yeah.
along with the geysers in there, I think it's kind of like that's just an extra tick on the old box of very cool.
You're talking the one with the lower guys are the Old Faithful, Grand Prismatic, that area of the park, correct?
Yeah, but not necessarily like uh oh, where's Steamboat Geyser? That's Lower Basin,
That's
yeah?
Norris Geyser Basin.
Oh, then that's the one I'm thinking of.
Norris Geyser Basin. No, that's what I thought you were going. I thought that's where you were
Yeah.
going. Because
Oh, that's the one I'm thinking
the
of
way you walk,
steamboating over there.
the way you walk that whole valley. Yeah, because I was like the
Yeah.
lower, yeah, that's like the big Old Faithful area, kind of. I think
Yeah.
is what.
Well, I mean, that area is pretty sweet too. But
Right.
the Norris one, that one, I've done it. I've walked to it once in the snow during the winter, which was really cool. And I've done it without the snow, which is equally as cool. It would probably shoot up to the top of the list if Steamboat ever went off while I was there. But
Right.
that's just because it'd be so freaking unique
It's
of a stop that I think, it'd be just ultimate, just oh, that's an amazing spot.
I can't believe it hasn't gone off in like a while. It was going off like crazy and then it just like stopped.
That's geysers for you, you know?
No, I like that spot. It's a nice walk. That's actually I think it's under construction right now. So,
Yeah.
oopsie. It is what it is. My number five is the canyon, the Yellowstone Canyon, the Grand Canyon of the Yellowstone. I like that area. I like the junction. I like the visitor center. I like uh kind of what's all going on right there. Um
I feel that.
it You got that artist point, kind of
Mhm.
picture of Yellowstone, of the waterfall. I've been there all times of the year. Not winter. I want to go there in the winter. I want to snowmobile there in the winter. Um, but we'll try. I mean, it's so cool. I don't know. I like it. I like it. It's beautiful. It's a nice canyon. There's good kind of wildlife kind of in that area too sometimes. Um, and then just the like I said, that visitor center, and there's just good memories there. Just good memories.
Totally, I feel that. Ironically, this is probably when it comes to this park, this is the one area that I always forget about. Like I just flat out will forget it's there because you remember all the valleys, the geysers, the hot pots, the big pools, the lake, that. And for some reason, even though I think I've been to the falls there, like the Artist Point and all that, like 3 times. And for
Yeah.
some reason, I forget about it.
No, and it's one of like even Lamar Valley, people forget about that quite a bit. And it's just interesting because it's also the time of the year you're in the park, the closures, we're staying in West Yellowstone, we're staying in Jackson, we're staying at Bozeman, right? The different things you can do, how much time you have. Um, yeah, I mean that's the canyon, and I think you're right. It is kind of one of those areas where people kind of they bypass it or they don't really have the time because that parking lot fills up. But even then, that parking lot, it's worth the walk, it's worth the hike. I mean, get out, you're in a park, walk around. You know, when you do, I think the day trip of Yellowstone, that's what I like when you do the day trip from Billings. You wake up early in the morning, you do that sunrise at the Beartooth Pass, beautiful. And you roll in that Lamar Valley, you get some wildlife, early action, boom, bang, boom. And then you kind of move into the the canyon area and you kind of start getting into the more the natural features of the park. I like that. And then, the drive across like the lake, like you're saying, and then into the geysers, you get those geothermal features. And then as the day concludes, you kind of work your way out that Paradise Valley. And it's just, I don't know. It's pretty dope.
It is 100%, 100% agree with you there. Moving on to my number four. I'm going to be honest, it's a bit specific, but when I tell you why it's specifically, you'll understand. But it's at Old Faithful, and it's the other side of the little
Oh
viewing
yeah.
of Old Faithful where nobody seems to go.
No, you're
And
absolutely
I
right.
think
Yeah.
it's absolutely hilarious that it's like not even like point 0.2 of a mile, and nobody goes there.
No, they all sit in the stands, the benches. You're absolutely right. They don't walk around, and you get a different view, an angle, without the people. You kind of get the runoff of the water. That's a really cool geyser for sure. Um,
I want to do the hike to see it from above.
like behind, yeah, no, I think that's
Yeah.
definitely like the more and more we get into Yellowstone Park, the more and more I want to explore those true backcountry hikes and those true like I want to get up in that like Hell's Roaring Creek and stuff like that in the park. There's some really good backcountry in there.
Hmm.
Be bear aware. Um, just talk
I'm
loud.
aware.
Let them know.
They're there. I'm aware. Their bears are there. I'm aware of it.
No, I like that. I mean, it's a good the Old Faithful area. I mean, Old Faithful's on my list, not quite yet, but like that backside, and then like you said, it leads you off right to those other hikes in that area.
Hmm.
There's certain like that's why I really do want to stay. Like, we stayed in the cabins that time, but actually stay like there for a couple of days. Make
Just
that
in that little section, huh?
like make that your base. No, you know what I mean? Like you can't like that like you stay in the cabin. So like you will go do the hike. You will go here in the morning. You'll go this way in the morning. That way. You know what I mean? Like when you camp in certain parts of the park, like take Gardner for example with Jared, right? Like every morning we're hitting kind of like that Lamar Valley or that north
Oh,
part in the morning, right? Which is great. I mean, it's a good time to see animals, but like it's like let's do morning on the lake. Let's do morning in the Tetons. Let's do morning, work it around when you're in those parks too. But like to do a hike like that, like spend the time in the area so you do force yourself to say, no, we'll do this hike this evening because we're staying here.
yeah, no, I know what you mean. I know what you mean by now. By making that the base. And that makes sense that you would want to do that because I mean, you've been there and you go enough nowadays and you have Jared lives so close that you hit the big items up north very a lot. And so
Right.
to switch it up, I feel you on that one.
Well, right. And that's why, like, that was another reason why this winter I was really wanting to go snowmobiling out of West Yellowstone because you make West Yellowstone the base. You fish those lakes over there. You
Mhm.
just change it up. You experience something new. You try something different. And at the end of the day, yeah, it is with the people you go with, and that's the true experience. But I mean, it's fun to experience those new things together. I think those are those moments that you look back on. I know people are like, oh, you still have good moments if you do the same thing, but go and change it up, right? Go and let's go see what I really want to go camping in the Tetons. I really want to spend like 2, 3, 4 days in the Tetons.
Me too. I want to get to the Tetons a bit more.
Maybe this summer.
No, I got too much going this summer. Would love to, but I've got too much going.
You
Um,
can make it work. You'll make it work.
but moving on to your number four.
This one kind of like yours, getting interesting, getting topic twisty. Uh the wolves.
Mhm.
The wolves make my number four. The reason I choose this is I really like what Yellowstone has done with the reintroduction of the wolves. People were all against it. Oh, you're reintroducing a species that's not really common down there. Like yes, the Alaskan wolves are a little bit more like they are bigger and but like they didn't take the big ones. They took the small ones. They took the ones that were most likely to be like the Montana wolves. And the Montana, like when you look at the way they interact with the elk, they're not killing off the elk in numbers that the elk are just like devastated. It's natural, healthy numbers that everything's managed at. Because even the wolves that do get killed off by the humans, outside of the park. Like it's managed and it's working. It's shown to be effective, like and it just makes sense like when you look over at like what's happening in Eastern Oregon with your guys is in the Cascades, or Central Oregon with the wolves there. Like what that will ultimately do for just the environment in that area.
Time will tell. Time will tell on that one. Yeah, no, the wolves are pretty cool. I'll admit. I've only ever seen the one wild. Um,
That we
the
flash, huh?
Yeah, the one it was at the end of the 12 parks and whatever, however
We
many
should have
days.
just stopped. I don't know why I didn't just stop.
I think
There
when
was a
you
car in
saw it, you
between
were
us.
like right by it. It was like it literally like looked to your right out the right window instead of like for me, it's more up front. I had the easier opportunity to stop.
I feel yeah. And there's that
But
guy.
I don't think you could have won because you also had the car in between us. So I think it would have been hard for you to stop in that moment.
Yeah, no, I would. Yeah, it was really cool. That was neat to see. Definitely getting those wolves like that. Definitely want to see more when you have those moments. Rather than look up on a hill, there's one sitting there. Oh, is that a rock? No, that's the wolf. Through a spotting scope. No, it's good. They wolvers do a good job. They keep track of them, so really follow them if you want to see what's going on. Wake up early too. The wolves are active
Mhm.
early. they're active now, the springtime. There's a lot of good food, young food, a lot of bison being born. So they're feeding. They're out. I want to go see some here. Hopefully over Memorial Day or something, I can get out and go to the park again. That's kind of the plan for now. But yeah, the wolves. I like the wolves.
In need of LED lights for your vehicle? Look no further than our friends at Oxteo, keeping our vehicles well lit while on the road while looking for Bigfoot. Make sure to use code RUGARU, RUGARU, on your next set of LED lights.
Hey there, Reverend. I heard that you might be running dry on your sticker supplier.
Yeah, I've been looking around and I've kind of like run out of cool stickers to buy and put on water bottles and stuff.
Well, I mean, have you seen the stuff Josh has been coming out with lately?
No, I have not.
Well, he is doing some really cool stuff with the Shop LS 574. Yes, they're working with indigenous communities and making some really cool stickers. He has a really cool Buffalo Mountain sticker. There's even water bottles, hats, sweatshirts, the whole swag. And we even got a discount code for you guys. Yes, if you use Wandering Ways at Shop LS 574, you're going to be getting a discount on your next purchase. But not only that, you're going to be giving a percentage of that sale to the Little Shell Tribe, as well as they donate $1 of every sale to murdered and missing Indigenous women. So just such a cool thing going on there. You use the code Wandering Ways, WANDERING and you put that in there, boom, you're getting a discount.
The Wild West is full of dangers, from snakes to bears. The outdoorsman must be prepared. That is why when you experience rivers like the San Juan or the Yellowstone, you must bring a blue ribbon net. Handcrafted and biodegradable, these classic wooden fishing nets are all you need while on the river. Make sure to use code RUGARU10 when checking out at Blue Ribbon Nets. Again, the code is RUGARU10. RUGARU10.
You know what I wanted to open up with and I totally forgot about until like right now when I was redoing the cool or getting ready to do this cool shit in nature is the Hurricane Ridge Lodge
Oh,
burning down
yeah,
in Olympic.
yeah, yeah. No, I saw that and I was like, that sucks. I haven't seen that. And I
I
was like,
know.
that happened like now, like early season, which is nuts. I thought, and it sucks because like I didn't get to see it. But what's nice about national parks, with if Yellowstone, one thing taught me with the floods is they bounce the fuck back.
That's true. I
Yeah.
wonder how the fire happened.
Yeah, because I wonder if it was like internal versus like a forest fire kind of thing.
I think
I
it was internal. I don't think there was a forest fire.
that's what I
At
didn't
least
see.
that's the vibes I got.
That sucks. It really does. Olympic National Park, our hearts are out to you.
Yeah,
Um, I want to go there and go to that lodge now. I can't, but they'll build something nice. They will. Like Sperry
they
Chalet
will.
Glacier,
For
whatever.
sure. They won't put a chalet, but they'll for sure
Oh, but
build
like,
something, another lodge, another something up there for them. But anyways, like Yellowstone, uh, Yellowstone's got a lot of cool shit. And speaking of it,
prove it.
time for cool shit in nature.
I'm
I
here.
got two as per usual. This one super cool, in my opinion. It's a big old waterfall.
Oh, that's nasty.
Yeah. It'd be wild to see like a
Probably
waterfall like this.
that's probably down there in like Colombia or something. Because I'm the only reason based off this post. Oh no, it says Bolivar. Is that Bolivia in Estadio Bolivar?
South America.
Yeah, well, yeah, but like right there
Yeah.
or Venezuela, maybe Venezuela or Bolivia. That's a beautiful park. Let's
Yeah.
go. I do want to go see the Andes. I do think the Andes Mountains are fantastic. I think they create.
You want to go see Machu Picchu? Is that what you want to do?
I do. I really do. Um, But the like that when you look like they talk about that in just the native history of like uniting the two continents. There are some historical traditional stories tribes have of going between the two continents, going down there. Because that
Yeah.
backbone, the mountains run, it's crazy. Like the Andes and stuff are basically the Rocky Mountains of the South America. They run north and south. There's mountain range that runs all through Mexico. You know what I mean? Like it's just like kind of
Yo,
crazy.
100%. Machu Picchu would be cool. My parents have been and they said it's really dope.
Oh,
Second cool shit in nature. Nothing like seeing a honey badger get scooped up and almost killed here.
I think I think I think the kids call that getting yeeted these
Yeah.
days.
I think you're right. I think that is what the kids call it, is getting yeeted. I watched
There's
this video and I immediately thought this honey badger should give a fuck because
Yeah. I love the like aggressiveness. It's just like it's attacking an ibex, these ibex are really
yeah,
kind of cool creatures. And the ibex with his horns just puts him to the ground and just lofts this fucker. Just
yeah.
throws him. And I love right like there, like right at the peak of the fall, the thing turns into full cat and like gets the legs all like ding.
100%. He goes like full stiff as a board for the landing and
Yeah,
just
like
kind of bounces.
cat.
Yeah. So- but
I
yeah, I
love
thought
it.
that one would be a fun one to watch.
Yeah, I was talking to Matt because we were down in Albuquerque there, and we went to the Cabela's because it was right next door to the hotel. Basically, Matt could see it out his window, his hotel room window, which has been just a pleasure. It has been just a pleasure going to all these hotels with Matt because we went to Denver and he was like, "This is the nicest hotel I've ever stayed at." And that's what I do. I book the bougiest one, I can find at like the rate. You get a rate and you're like, okay, what hotel can I get? And you book it. And I've been putting him in some really nice rooms, and he's like, "Man, this has just been great." And looking at a Cabela's out my window, it's fucking hilarious. He's a good dude. It's just funny. But we saw the ibex there, and they have ibex in White Sands National Park down in New Mexico.
Really?
Yeah, people can hunt them. There's like a special tag you can draw. Yeah, they put them
Who'd
there,
have
like
thought?
the Spanish like conquistadors and shit put them there.
Oh, okay. That's starting to make some sense now.
Yeah,
Um, they doing some crazy shit
they
like
did.
that.
They did one there.
Uh, anyways, moving on back. We're gonna reel it back, wander our way back into the top five. We left off at number three. I'm gonna open it up with number three, with my pick going to Grand Prismatic.
Oh my
Um,
God.
it's a
That's my
good one.
that's my number
That
three too, Cowboy.
Look at that. Look at that. We got things in common. Who'd have thought? We travel a lot together. Who'd have thought that we'd have similar likes?
Yeah, no, I mean honestly, it's a great one. The Grand Prismatic, it's a great geyser. It's the one you see in all the pictures of Yellowstone. It's classic, it's pretty, it's beautiful. We've been able to see it. I think you and I have been able to see it quite a bit in the um both in like different times of the day as well as different angles. Like we've been down below on it as well as we've been up on top, up above. We've seen it kind
Mhm.
of in the snow. We've seen it on a bright blue, sunny, hot day. I've seen it at sunset. It's it, it's spectacular. And when you do hit it, like I do like come June here when it's uh like sunsets at 9 o'clock at night. Go to Grand Prismatic at 9 o'clock at night. No one's going to be there.
Yeah, that's true. And that'd be a great sunset for sure. Um, if you get that golden hour too, because of where the sun is setting, like you can get really nice color probably there as well, especially if you get up top to get that aerial view of Grand Prismatic. That
Kind of. The sun kind of sets that way. behind that
I
hill.
well, that's why if you did it, you wouldn't go for the sunset. You would go there for the golden hour part.
Yeah.
You'd have to do it 2 days essentially if you wanted to get both the sunset and the golden hour. Because the golden hour, it's nice to have the sun because you'll get some great, but a lot of times it's how the sun's hitting all the other stuff when you're looking away from the sun.
Yeah, you want a nice like cloudy day where you're getting those pink clouds. Oh, that would
Yeah,
after like a good Montana thunderstorm. Oh, oh,
yeah, that would that'd be pretty spot on.
no, it really
Grand
would.
prismatic, why I like it is the colors.
Oh, very much so.
The colors are just phenomenal. Um, and then getting up to the upper viewpoint, that short hike, that's a game changer for Grand Prismatic. Because Grand Prismatic's really cool when you're like at like the geyser there, but it's really cool from above.
Do you know where that petrified tree is? And do you know the bear den by the petrified tree?
Yes.
Okay, well, that bear den, it makes sense now after kind of seeing that one be the way it is, that that like Grand Prismatic over there, that in the early spring sometimes they'll have signs blocking that off for bear activity because of like bear with cubs in that area and because of how populated that area can get.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
and it makes sense like that they would den up in that area too. So it's just something to be worried about when you're in that area. Um, there's a couple other areas in the park I want to get into when it comes to like the Grand Prismatic type geysers, because there's some of those hikes you can do that take you to
Yeah.
these geysers. I mean, they're not as pretty as Grand Prismatic, but like they're just unique. Each geyser, yeah, everyone says, "Oh, you've seen one, you've seen them all," right? But like in reality, they're all unique. It's really cool to see them like up in the mountains, up in the hills, by the trees, down by the lake. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah. Those people that say you see one geyser, you seen them all, are also the same person that's like, we got to hike to this waterfall. Well, you've seen one waterfall, you've seen them all. They're all the same. So they don't understand that they're yes, they are the same, but there's going to be the subtle differences that make each one of them unique. Yeah, sure, there may not be one as grand as Grand Prismatic, but it's still going to be pretty freaking sweet.
Right. No, I really like they're one of those hikes me and Jared did. It wasn't like Grand Prismatic. It was a different one. And I took a picture of like a hot spring and I was like, yeah, I just liked the way it looked. It looked just perfect the way just looking at it. And like sometimes you get those blues and those greens that you really like. But Grand Prismatic has that rainbow effect that just like boom.
Hmm.
And then on the walkboard where you have the like it, kind of like the rock that you're on is kind of that tiled look.
Yeah,
Just fantastic.
no, totally. Also, don't step on it, people.
Yeah, don't. No, no.
Too many people that do. Moving on to my number two, since it's your number three, we kind of hit two birds, one stone there. We're just gonna jump into my number two. My one and two are kind of similar. I'm not gonna lie. They're just two kind of different spots. I like this one because I've had some really good luck in this. I always see something super cool. It's the Hayden Valley.
Yeah, it's a good one. I didn't put Hayden Valley on mine, but
Yeah.
we had some good encounters there.
Yeah, I have great luck in the Hayden Valley. It's super cool to go for one, but two, have really good luck. I don't know. There's just something when I enter the valley knows.
It does. It really does. I like it. I mean, we've had some good bear sightings there. I believe that's where we saw one with the group of guys, that grizzly bear, when we walked down by the geysers there, kind of by the Dragon's Mouth. Is that
Oh, I think
Hayden
so.
Valley? Is that the edge of Hayden Valley? Would you
I
count that?
think
I feel like,
I think it is the edge of it.
yeah.
But no, in that area, I saw a bear with Vince and Phil. Um, we saw the mom and cubs from a distance where we were making the jokes as we're sitting there with all the other tourists, and you're just going, and then all of a sudden you hear,
Yeah.
uh, so
And those otters
I
that
think
time.
we saw otters there. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to say we saw otters swimming around it right there that time. And then
Yeah.
yeah, it's a pretty I like the way the river flows because when you really see the river there, I think that's like when you go to our waterways, like that's what they should look like.
Yeah.
You know, we don't think about how much water like a town is sucking up, right? Like you take Yellowstone, the river, right? You have Gardner, you have Livingston, you have Big Timber, you have Columbus, you have Billings, you have, all these towns just in Montana sucking off this river. And it's like, oh, it's so low. Well, like if we weren't sucking off of it the way like we are, piping into it, farming with it, like the banks should run like that where I feel like they run right into the grassy groves. Like it just is like almost like a perfect harmony. And the Hayden Valley, I think, kind of gives you that, especially with the wildlife, because you do see a lot of wildlife there.
Hmm. Yeah. No, 100% agreed on that one. Um, super, super cool. Anyways, what's your number two?
Old Faithful.
Huh. Wouldn't have guessed.
Wouldn't have guessed. Yeah, no, it's a one, top two for sure. I like the Old Faithful area. I like the lodge. It's a really cool lodge. Kind of we talked about that, I believe, last week with the American grit in the national
Yeah.
park. And you see that in that lodge. I think being America's first national park, when you look at like the lodges in like Glacier and then the lodges in like I could only imagine a Yosemite and like a Sequoia, like some of those other like the Grand Canyon one's nice. It's
Yeah.
different. It's different because the Grand Canyon's different. I'm sure the Zion one's pretty good. The Bryce one looked pretty fantastic. I don't know. The Mammoth Cave one looked kind of cool too. I mean, it's kind of more hotel-y, but just like to do the lodges, like I like that. I like the snow lodge. I like that we were able to camp in the campground there. Even the cafeteria, like each building is kind of unique in its own way in that area. That's where they put the new Native Center too. It's in that like that photography building kind of weird thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
That's where they put it. And then just like, there's a lot of good things with Old Faithful. It's kind of just one of those, whenever you're in the park, it's like you got to go see Old Faithful.
Sh- Yeah, it is. It's something I think you always go. Because in the little visitor center, they do a really good job there. They have like the videos that you can go watch. So I think they do a good job with it. And I mean, Old Faithful, it's called Old Faithful for a reason. So
It really is. No, and I like that area. And like you said, that hike back there, I do that spot where we go watch it. And then if you can just hike back behind, that would be fun. And then, we had that coyote run through the camp. Like, I don't know, it's just cool. I mean, when you go to these parks sometimes, and I feel like Iceland's going to definitely feel that way because we're trying to see a lot in such a short amount of time. Like there's two types of trips. There's like the ones like that where it's like we're going to go and we're going to see a lot. We're going to do a lot. We're going to have a lot of fun. But then there's like the ones like almost like if we were to stay at that cabin in West Yellowstone and just stay in that area, like kind of like the San Diego trip we took, like where you just kind of just chill more so in
mhm.
that area. And I think the Old Faithful area gives you that opportunity in the park, and that's why I'd like to like that. I told speaking earlier, I want to experience that more, but some of those I don't know, you can like if we went to Iceland and just chilled in Reykjavik for 6 days, like you're still going to have an epic Iceland trip, but
Yeah. If I'm being honest, like I think Iceland, another way to do it is kind of like what we did with the Hawaii trip. We had two main bases that we had, and we just made three we filled up the days from like the one base. So I think you could do that kind of thing with Iceland and see a fuck ton. But you could also do the 6 days in Reykjavik and see a fuck ton too. So,
Right.
or you
No,
can see the whole island and you're going to see a fuck ton. So,
exactly. No, and that's the fun of it. But I do think the Old Faithful area, when you get down to like the brass tacks of it, like I don't know. And I think it'd be something fun to do with a good group. It really sometimes is just getting that good group together and enjoying those places, those times together.
125% on that one. Agreed. Um, moving on to my number one. Um, I have been a fan of this spot from the very first trip that I took into Yellowstone.
When was that? And I'm curious because I'm very curious if we share the same number one. When was your first trip in Yellowstone?
First trip to Yellowstone was back in the drought of 2015.
Oh, it was okay. So that was their first time going over.
Yeah,
Okay,
that was first time in Yellowstone.
confirmed.
So
Confirm that.
confirmed. Can confirm. And yeah, so big fan of it ever since that day. I have had the best of luck. I always see the coolest shit in this spot. I tell everyone to go visit it. It's the Lamar Valley.
That's my number one too.
Yeah. Um, for yeah, one of I think my favorite part, well, favorite part because I just love to imagine, but when you're driving and you see the buffalo in the distance and the amount of ground that they cover at the population that they're at now, and then you can just sit there and you fathom of the numbers that it used to be, and you're like, holy shit. Because you could start just imagining that valley just get absolutely filled with
Literally,
yeah, with them. So I think that's like I think my favorite part. That's why I tell people to go to Lamar Valley.
I like it. I really do. I like. I mean, like you said, the wolves, the bears, the badger. That's where we saw the badger. Me and Jared saw some otters there. Great experience. It's open in the winter. It's open in the summer. That's where we saw that fox hunting mice and voles through the snow. Was there. I really
Mm-hmm.
Lamar it's a special place, and there's two spots in the Lamar Valley. Is when you first get into the Lamar Valley and you look, and this is coming from Tower, and you look and you see the true Lamar Valley go back,
Mm-hmm.
and it goes all the way back because the road doesn't go that way. It kind of skirts it, and you could just tell at the end of that valley, those wolves, those bison, those animals that are way down there are untouched. Because you look on the map, that goes right back into those mountains from like Cody. Like, that's just like the grail, but you see the mountains in the background and it's just picturesque. And then the other one is when you're looking from Soda Butte towards Cook City, which that I don't think that technically is the Lamar Valley, but I like to consider it part because it's just how it branches off. Uh,
Yeah.
but that right there, when you're looking out at those mountains behind there, that's probably my favorite spot in the whole park right there. Is nothing matters when you're there. You know what I mean? Like you're just like shit. Like here we are. Like we could just be here. Like it's just why? Like why worry about taxes? Why worry about this? Why worry about that? When we could just be here. And it's crazy because like as a native person, like that was the way of life, and that was the way of life that was taken. You know what I mean? Like it was just and I think that's where like sometimes you get like the laziness aspect of people is especially of ethnic people, because a lot of those ethnic people that were conquered by European communities had that like no, like we just relax, we chill, like we just like we live by the river, we'll go hunt a bison, that'll last us a couple days, we don't need to keep working for food every day, like we can relax. When did it become about it's I need more, or I need to be greater than you. I need to have more than you. And it wasn't that way. And that spot really gives me that feeling. I could go there every day. I try to as much as I can.
Nice. Yeah, no, I mean, it does take you to another place for sure. I mean, when Vince, Phil and I did our trip and we got to Yellowstone, we went out of our way to I had to show Vince and Phil Lamar Valley. I think uh Vince had seen it because he was in Yellowstone like a couple weeks before we had gotten there.
Right.
Or like a month before. But I mean, Phil hadn't. So, and it's one of the because it takes you to a different place, even though it takes you to a different time,
Yes.
and it's interesting how it does that because
Well,
you really do feel like that's like that true, probably the truest part of nature you'll feel kind of.
ever.
Yeah, and it's weird in that sense because it's kind of as the term, it's kind of ineffable, which is another word for like hard to explain.
Well, and it's exactly it's when you're looking at it and you're looking at the direction of humanity, it just makes you question a lot.
Yeah.
And it makes you think deeper. And I think that, I mean, the Lamar Valley is so special. I mean, I know Jared and Colton and those guys get sick and tired of like my thing. I love in the winter there. You doing that drive and then you stop in Cook City and you go eat at that dingy fucking bar because that's Montana. You know what I mean though? But that's fun to go do that in places. You know what I mean? You go find those. It's good food. You're, like you're gonna eat it. You're gonna enjoy it. You're gonna have a good time. But you can sit in that bar in those windows. You just look right out at those mountains in the white snow. Just capped, and the snowmobilers doing their thing. But you can just sit there and enjoy. And that kind of that thought of like where you just were in that valley having those times, having those moments. Then you go sit down in a bar like that. You can go watch the TV. They're talking about the fucking drought in the Southwest, but here you are in a snowy mountain. And it's just, I don't know. It's interesting. And those are those places, I guess you hear like Ernest Hemingway and stuff when they spend time, they write their novels or they tell their stories, and that it's the greater thing of life of like if you have that appreciation and you have that understanding when you're in these places and you have this top five, where you want to have those moments and experiences, you are living, I think, a good quality of life because you have those people who like that's what Ernest Hemingway writes his fucking books about, and we study him and we want to be like him and we do this and we do that. You listen to like even the Bible, be a good person, pick up, after one another, do this, like don't turn the cheek, and you look at the way we live with nature and you go to these parks, you see that, you see everything in that way of just being good. It almost takes the evil and the hate out of the way when you're in these places. Like you don't see that. I mean, you can, don't get me wrong, but like even death in the parks, like you see like a wolf take down a elk. It's not seen as evil or hate. It's seen as natural, right? But you see something like that. You see some dogs attacking a cat in the street. It's evil and hate, right? Like different intent, and it's interesting.
100%, I feel it there. Anyways, I actually have to be that guy. We're running out of time, so thankfully we got through it. I think we were gonna get close and we're in on two. That'd be awkward if you'd be in the middle. And my number one, I'm sorry, I have to be that guy. That'd be the ultimate cliffhanger.
No,
um,
I knew with Lamar, I knew we'd be good. We good. We Gucci.
well, I did too. But anyways, it's time for the final words. So final words, my guy.
Find your top five in these parks, especially those parks you hold near and dear to yourself. And find those things you really appreciate and like about them because when you spend the time to talk about the things you appreciate in life, it makes you think about the other things you appreciate or the other things you want to do or the other things you want to accomplish, you know. And it helps build that positive mindset. I know Reverend Mark's always preaching the good word about building a positive mindset. Because that makes you a better person, no matter where you're at. And if you can think positive, do positive things, get the hate out of your mind, it can do a lot. It really can. And not everyone in the world is mean.
This is true. This is true. Reverend's final words of wisdom. Stay beautiful, everybody. I can't tell you how much I appreciate every single one of you for listening all the way through, listening to all of the other episodes, all the other watching all the other videos, all that fun stuff. We're summers are clicking. It's time to get outside to do as much as you can. I may not be out on adventures, but I am getting outside. I'm planning on a run tomorrow. I have a run on Thursday. I'm probably going to go on a long bike ride outside this weekend. So it is, even though I am working all of those days, I'm still finding the time to get outside. I just do it the way I do best, which is with motion. But with that being said, peace out, everybody.
Bye.